Jim, you're in good shape. Your contract's been renewed, so all is good for next year. You know, I'm excited this morning to be here with you and spend a little bit of time because Julie talked about it's all about you, and it is about you, and it's about the work that you do and the work that you've been doing. And I want to spend some time this morning to celebrate, because we don't do enough of that. We don't take the time because we're so busy trying to move to the next level. We're so busy trying to achieve that next goal that we don't take the time to just pause and celebrate. And I want to take that opportunity this morning. So as we pull up the slide, I want to talk about celebrations. Julie talked about how important you are. And she talked about the fact that this board supports you in so many ways, but one of the ways they do that, it is through pay increases. And I'm really excited that last May, this Board of Trustees, because they know how valuable you are, they know that you are the most important resource in this school district, they approved a 2% salary increase. So join me in giving your Board of Trustees a round of applause as a thank you for that 2% salary increase. And if we've done our calculations right, and we've spent some time doing that, we think on the new UEA salary schedule, you know, where they compare all the school districts across the western part of the Metroplex, that we are going to be in the #1 slot across the board. Again, recognizing the fact that it's all about the people, that it's all about you. But also want to talk just a moment about goal number 2, efficient and effective operations. And I really want to highlight our business operations department, because we're accomplishing something that a lot of other school districts aren't able to do, and that is that we have a financial plan that puts us in good shape year after year. I mentioned that 2% salary increase. I went back and did a little bit of data mining, and one of the things I found was that over the last 2 decades, there has only been 1 year that we've not given a salary increase, and that was the year that the state reduced our funding by $12 million. Other than that, our business operations department has had a tremendous plan in place and strategically positioned us to be able to meet those needs and give you a salary increase. In addition to that, one of the things that is a celebration is when we start this school year, we'll put $6.5 million in fund balance. And why is that important that we have that money in the savings account? Well, it's important because there are a lot of school districts in this state, every month they're having to go to the bank to borrow to make payroll because they're having to wait on their state payment to come in. We're not in that position. We're not borrowing money. We're not paying interest. There are a lot of school districts across this state. It's up and down. 1 year they're adding teachers, the next year laying off teachers. We're not doing that. We believe in the importance of being consistent along the way. We believe in having that security in the event of any type of emergency situation. So again, our business operations department is doing a tremendous job, and that's an area to celebrate. I want to talk about, again, our exemplary staff. I continue to be amazed at what our staff does and what they're accomplishing. Things like Mr. Chris Adams, who is our ATPE State Teacher of the Year, is just one example. I had the opportunity last week to join Michelle White and Margaret Russell at the Region 11 Teacher of the Year banquet. Again, tremendous staff and representing all of you there. I look at all of our staff members who are called on across the state and across this nation to make presentations that are recognized for their knowledge and their expertise. So it is an HEB ISD. It is all about a quality staff. Also, I'm excited that 98% of you, I wish it were 100, but 98% of our staff members said they're proud to work in HEB ISD, that they believe in the mission, they believe in the vision, they believe in the goals and what we're trying to accomplish in this school district on behalf of 23,000 students. So that's a celebration. And ladies and gentlemen, you have experienced this morning what we talk about when we talk about the whole child and listening to that elementary honor choir. And I'll tell you, it's just one example of what's working well in Texas public schools. and it is about educating the whole child. We recognize in this school district the importance of the visual and performing arts, the importance of athletics, clubs and organization. That's where teamwork's taught, where leadership's developed. So that's a celebration as we look at how well our visual and performing arts, our athletics and clubs and organizations are doing. So again, we celebrate the whole child. And then enduring relationships with stakeholders. You've heard that mentioned over and over this morning. We're better together, working with our community. It takes all of us to be able to meet the needs of our students in HEB ISD. And so in our most recent survey results, 90% of our community, our parents, said that they would rate HEB ISD as exemplary. And so we're excited about that. We're going to continue to work. We want that to be 100%. But again, how many school districts can say they have a 90% approval rate? So tremendous job there. And building those relationships takes time and it takes effort. And we put some time and effort in last March when we did the HEB Showcase, the inaugural showcase. And part of that was because about 13 months earlier, when Deanne came on board as our public relations and marketing officer, she brought an organization in to do an audit, and they went out in the community and they said, what do you think about HEB ISD? And they said, you know, it's a great school district. It has great staff, great kids, great school board. There's only one problem. They don't tell their story. It's the best kept secret in Northeast Tarrant County. So part of our goal over this last 12 months has been about telling our story. It's been about getting the secret out. And one of the ways that we did that was the showcase this year. We had about 5,000 folks who came to the viewing room, and you know what? They got to see what makes HEB ISD different by design. They got to see the talent of our students. They got to see the passion of our staff, and they got to see the support of our community. So again, another huge celebration. You heard me introduce a number of folks this morning, and those are our strategic alliances. Again, we couldn't do what we do in this school district without those alliances, without that support, without those people giving of their time, their talent, their treasures, but they're also some of our greatest advocates. They're out there telling the story and advocating for HEB ISD. So we're really proud of that. And then, you know, it all comes back to goal number one, student achievement. That's what we're all in the business of doing, is improving student achievement. That's what we're here for. So I want to talk just a moment about some celebrations there. And the first one, state assessments. And we can argue whether we agree with state assessments, we don't agree with state assessments, we agree with state accountability, we don't agree. But the fact of the matter is, right now, that's a customer requirement. And our kids are expected to do well. And we don't do anything in HEB unless we do it well. So I'm excited this morning because we're making progress. We have improvement. 84% of our students met the standard on the state assessment. And that's an improvement over the previous year. And you know, you think about that, you say, well, 84%. You know, gosh, 53% of our kids are economically disadvantaged. 74 languages are spoken in our home. 12% of our students are English language learners. So the challenges are great in this school district, in each one of your classrooms, and I'm not telling you something you don't already know. So I'm just a little bit proud, a little bit puffed up over the fact that 84% of our kids met standard when you look at those challenges. And in addition to that, 75% of our students made progress over the previous year when you look at all the indicators across the board on that state assessment. But you know, while that's important to us, we also recognize the fact that we have to be not only college, but career ready, and great things are happening in our career and technical education program. As a matter of fact, this last year, 33% 300 certifications were granted to kids. And that's a tremendous celebration. In this district, we're all about pushing forward. We're all about getting better. So I'm excited that last year we introduced our newest school of choice program, and that was our STEM program. We piloted it at the elementary level at Stonegate, and it was such a huge success that this year we'll be implementing that on the other 19 elementary campuses. Huge success at Central Junior High, where we piloted the junior high STEM program. Opportunity for kids to get involved in robotics. We look at the high school level, our kids are getting involved in rocketry and drones. So our STEM program is alive and well, and we're looking forward to moving forward with that and that increasing. All right, and then 135 diplomas. Of our International Baccalaureate students, 135 of them from this year's class earned the coveted International Baccalaureate diploma. That is significant of it unto itself. But I want to tell you what really makes that significant, and that is that we offer this program at both of our comprehensive high schools. This program is open to any student who is willing to work hard, any student who is willing to make the commitment. You see, we don't discount any student, any child in HEB ISD. We don't just skim off the cream of the crop and send them to a special school. We say, if you want to become a part of this program and you're willing to work hard, come on and do it. And I'll tell you what, never underestimate a kid, because year before last, there was a student who graduated with an IB diploma who began her career in PPCD. Never underestimate a kid and what they can do. And then another celebration, and that's our graduation rate. We are doing a phenomenal job. You are doing a phenomenal job of getting these kids through school. 96.7% graduation rate, and I'll tell you that is certainly the envy of many school districts, and especially the envy of any school district who has demographic challenges. And then a 96.9% attendance rate, and we stay on you and we stay on the kids all the time about attendance. And the reason we do that was because we know if kids aren't here, they can't learn, and it's critical to their learning. So I just want to say thank you to the teachers who are encouraging and providing engaging lessons. Thank you to those assistant principals, to those registrars and secretaries who are on the phone with those parents. Thank you to the truancy office who's delivering those letters, because it does take a village to get some of these kids here. And so I appreciate the work that everybody does, but it is worth it when they're here and they can learn, and we can graduate 96.7% of these kids. And then I want to take just a moment to talk about some individual campuses. And the first campus I want to talk about is Bel Air Elementary. If there was ever a campus in this school district that is challenged, it is Bel Air Elementary. But you know, they serve as an example because what they're doing is working with kids from an asset model rather than a deficit model. It's real easy to look at what kids don't have, and it's real easy to look at what kids don't bring to the classroom. It's real easy to get caught up in that. It's a lot more difficult to work from the asset model, to say, you know what, we're gonna build on the talents that they bring. We're gonna build on what those families can do. And that's what's happening at Bel Air, and I'm really proud of them that they have been named the Children at Risk Top Gold Ribbon Elementary School. So congratulations, Bel Air. And then we're thrilled with our designated Texas Honor Roll schools, Harwood Junior High, Bell High School, Bedford Junior High. Congratulations to you guys. That's a tremendous honor. And then finally, Harwood Junior High, that has earned the coveted Schools to Watch designation. which means that they are an example to other junior highs and middle schools, not only across this state, but across this nation. And Dr. Givens and several of his staff members had the opportunity to travel to Washington this summer to make a presentation to tell the Harwood story on how they're achieving such great levels of success. So congratulations to Harwood Junior High. And then we just received this week some other information. We received our AP scores. So we spent some time bragging on IB. I'm going to spend a little bit of time bragging on AP because both Bell and Trinity, their overall AP scores exceeded not only the state, but they also exceeded the global average. So congratulations to both of these schools. So you see, when we stop and pause for just a moment for celebration, we've got a lot to celebrate in this school district. We've accomplished a lot over this past school year. You have accomplished a lot over this past school year. But while we celebrate, we also know that we have some challenges that lie ahead for this next school year. Some of those challenges are things like we have a new accountability system. We're going to receive a grade for the first time. We're going to be graded A through F. We'll receive an A through F designation as a district this first year, and then each campus will receive an A through F designation. We know that there will continue to be debate and continue to be the push for and the struggle with choice in our state legislature. And you know what? For us in HEB ISD, we answered that question over a decade ago about school choice. Thanks to our forward-thinking superintendent at the time, Dr. Gene Buinger, we've had choice for over a decade, recognizing that parents need to decide what programs they want for their kids. So I think we're well positioned there. And then to know that we'll continue to have the struggle with how are we going to finance Texas public schools. Knowing that our students are getting more needy every year, how are we going to finance and find the resources? So those are some of the things that are challenges that are out there on the horizon. But those are not always things that we can do a whole lot about, other than try to position ourselves as best we can to address those issues. And so what we're going to be doing this year is we're going to be focusing on some areas. And I'm going to ask them to bring that slide back up, please. We're going to be focusing on student achievement. No surprise to you. We talk all the time in the district, the main things, keep the main thing about the main thing, and the main thing is student achievement. But specifically this year, we're going to be focusing on reading English language arts. We looked at our last set of state assessments. We know that's an area that we've got to make some improvement. And I want to say thank you to a group of teachers this morning. Where are my kindergarten, first, and second grade teachers? Raise your hands, raise them proud. I want to say thank you to you because you're critical to our success in English language arts. Because early literacy is the key. If kids don't learn to read in kindergarten, first, and second grade, their level of success in the other academic subjects is not going to be very strong. And we know there's something fundamentally that happens in third grade in reading. Can anybody tell me what it is? There's a shift. K through 2, we're learning to read, and what happens in 3 and above? We're reading to learn. And so we've got to make sure those kids are set and ready to go. And I want to say thank you to those kindergarten, first, and second grade teachers, because we moved your cheese last year. We set a much loftier goal for our students, but we did that because we knew there was a disconnect between second and third grade, and we have to get those kids prepared and get them ready. So thank you to those folks who are working there, but also, we've got to work in the other grade levels as well. So that's going to be an area of concentration. We're going to be working on writing. That's another area of concentration. And we got to make sure our kids can communicate and can express their thoughts and their ideas. And then we're going to continue our focus on math. And let me just say, congratulations to the math folks. We did some phenomenal work last year. You guys did a great job, so thank you for that. Some really great work was done. But I always say, to the principals and the leadership, it's a little bit like whack-a-mole. We got, kind of keep whacking those molds down. We can't let one pop up. So we got to keep our focus on math. We're working on redesigning the curriculum in math to make it a little simpler, to make it a little clearer. So I know that will be exciting to the math teachers. And I have to really give a shout out and say thank you to Teresa Moles, our elementary math coordinator, who's really worked diligently this past year to listen to your concerns and to meet your needs and to put together a quality program. So we'll continue to focus there. We'll continue to focus on college and career ready, looking at ways that we can improve our SAT and our ACT scores. You've heard the celebrations from the IB and the celebrations for AP, so we've got to keep our eye focused on that, keep our eye on the ball there. But we know there are going to be at least 11 indicators on this new accountability system that are going to deal specifically in that area. So we're going to continue our focus on student achievement, but that's nothing new for you guys. You've come to expect that in HEB ISD. But what else are we going to be doing to try to meet some of these new challenges? We're revamping and working on professional development. We want professional development to be more focused. We want professional development to be more aligned. We want it to be more text-driven. And that's one of the things you're going to hear over and over this year is we've got to return back to the text. We've got to understand those. We've got to understand what that means and how that translates into what we need to be teaching each and every day in the classroom. Because again, whether you like them, whether you believe in the text or the TEKS, the fact is it's the state curriculum framework, and that's a customer requirement. We're looking at trying to really make professional development content rich. We've spent the last few years focusing on pedagogy, focusing on engagement, and those are critically important, don't get me wrong, and we want to continue that good work, but we also know that we've got to focus on content and helping teachers understand exactly what it is they're being expected to teach. And then professional development's got to be purposeful. If we're going to ask you to come to give up your time after school, give up your time on Saturdays, we got to make sure that it's purposeful and that it meets your needs. So I'm going to issue a challenge to you this year, and that challenge is you've got to help us make sure we meet our goals. So you've got to give us feedback throughout this year on how well are we doing on revamping that professional development. And then finally, our focus is on excellence in employee performance. And you've heard everyone who stood on this stage this morning talk about the excellence that we have in our employees in this school district and about how important you are to us. This year, we're going to be adding a little over 200 professional employees to the HEB family, and we worked really diligently, our principals, our coordinators, our HR departments, to try to bring on the best of the best. Goal number 3 in our strategic plan, it's about recruiting and retaining the very best employees we can, because we know that employees are critical to the success of this organization. It's about working on assimilation. How do we get those new people in, and how do we get them assimilated into this district? Because I've said before, and I've stood on this stage and said it in Convocation, I've said it in other public venues, and I'm going to say it again today, working in HEB ISD is not for the faint of heart. We have high expectations in HEB for students and staff, but it's why we're able to accomplish amazing things for kids. So it's about assimilation, it's about support. We're really wanting to hear from you. How can we better support you? How can we better help you get your job done? It's about retaining quality, and that's one of the things we're really spending some time looking at. We invest a lot in our employees in HEB ISD. We invest a lot of time and a lot of money. We want to retain those quality employees. So we'll be hoping to hear from you on that as well. It's about building capacity. How do we have people ready to take that next step, whether it's through Lead HEB, whether it's through our teacher leadership programs? It's about building capacity and having people ready to take that next step. And it's also about assigning people based on their talents and their strengths. If you've been here for a while, you may have heard us talk about the book, Good to Great, and it talks about getting the right people on the bus, but it also talks about getting them in the right seat on the bus. And that's one of the things we're going to really be working on there, is getting folks in the right seat on the bus. And I've said to the principals, and we often can't help it, but I've asked them to please, to the best of our ability, reduce moving teachers around every year. Recognizing the fact in HEB, it takes about 3 years to really grasp that curriculum and some of the challenges in those grade levels. So it's about how do we assign based on talent and strength, and how do we lead people there and let them develop that talent and strength. And then finally, it's about evaluating our performance honestly. It's about confronting the brutal facts. And it's about each of us asking ourselves the question, how am I going to get better every day? And how am I going to do great things for kids every day? Because in HEB, it is about continuous improvement. It's about getting better every day to meet the needs of kids. So how are we going to do all this? It may seem kind of daunting. We're going to do it together because we are better together. I wish you the very best school district. I wish you the very best school year. And I wish you the very best school district too. But I will tell you this, I wouldn't want to be superintendent of schools anywhere else. I wouldn't want to be doing this hard work and this heavy lifting anywhere else. Because in this school district, we've got the people that can get it done because they believe in kids, they set high expectation for kids, and they have a can-do attitude to whatever it takes. So again, thank you for all you do, and have a fabulous school year.